neuroanatomy. So first of all, we will discuss about the introduction of neuroanatomy, or what is present inside our body that is controlling us. So there is a story that, for example, that we are moving, that we are standing, we are sitting, we are smiling, we have emotional disturbances, we have emotional like happinesses. There are so many feelings, there are so many control systems, there are so many reactions, there are so many actions. All are performed by the neurons. And what is actually the neuron? This is just a pathway to provide the signal, or to provide the way to get the information and then to deliver the information. So it's just a delivery boy. Neurons are just the delivery boys that just take the information, and then what happens is then they go out. So this was just a thing that was outside of the box. So what is actually present, what is the meaning of neuroanatomy or neurology in the actual medical sciences? So what happens is that, for example, you just think that you want to have want to shake a hand with your girlfriend. Okay, for you don't shake your hand with the girlfriend, or you want to shake the hand with your brother or any other person that you meet. So what happens is that you know that the person is coming towards you, and when he is coming towards you, you by the backside of the mind, you know that you have to shake your hand. For example, so how do you know that you have to do that? So how your muscles know that you have to go forward, or how your eyes knows that you have to see that way? So this is one of the point that we are going to discover, or we are going to learn, that what's the reason that is forcing us to shake the hand or hug your girlfriend, or whatever the thing you want to say. So where the idea comes from? The idea comes from the brain. So brain is a thing that is actually involved in that. So how it is done and how you can hug your girlfriend, this is would be taught in your in this lecture. So it might be like difficult for some people. They are saying that neuroanatomy is a very complicated subject, or that this is very hard to learn or something. But to me, when I was studying at my time, I thought that it might be difficult to just remember the whole things. There are so many nucleuses, there are so many nerves, there's a whole mess, there is a whole bunch of nucleuses, there's a whole bunch of nerves that are going through whole our body. Okay, so this makes a student hard, but believe me, this is not that much difficult that we are thinking. This is that much easy. If you want to learn it in a very jolly manner, you can do it, and you can do it in like a very easy manner. So you just have to focus on the lecture and the people and the students which is seen behind the camera. So you also have to take your pencils in notes, so that you can write each and everything. Okay, so this might be a thing that will lead to your progress in the neuroanatomy. Today our topic is introduction to neuroanatomy. So just think that we don't know about anything, we don't know anything about the neurology or the neuroanatomy. So we will begin from the very start, regardless of your high schools and stuff like that. We just know at the point that for the conduction, what is the main thing that you remember when you like think about the neuroanatomy? What word comes into? Nerves. Okay. What about you? The person sitting over there.
Neurons.
Neurons and?
Our motor system.
Motor system and? Okay. So regardless of the things, let me inform you that the first thing which must comes to your mind is your brain. Okay, so what is the control center of your body? Which is the brain. Every organ has very important things, but brain has a very important function to perform. So just like the other organs that you are taking stomach, I know that you take stomach so lightly and you think that brain is something very big and we will die if we will study that or something like that. This is not the thing. So what brain is actually very easy to study, and if you have an interest, you can go through it. So regardless of these things, we must say that what is the center of all the information from brain to where the information goes and to where the information comes is
Brain.
Brain. Okay. let me tell you about that what is the main thing of the neuroanatomy, which is with the nervous system. Okay, what is the main thing? There is the nervous system. Like if you are studying the neurology, you are saying that the nervous system is the main thing that we are going to study. So nervous system is divided into the two things, which is one central nervous system and the other is the peripheral nervous system. Just like the thing that you know that one thing is central and the other is like peripheral. For example, you have got the schools, you have got the colleges. So what happens that there is the office, there is a central office from where you will get the command, and what will happen that you will get the also that particular center will also receive the results. That is the principal office. So the principal office of our body is what? It is the brain that is present up here. So God Almighty has put this brain at the very top due to the reason that this is very superior, because it has to organize each and everything, and it has to know what we have to perform and what we have to be forbidden. Okay, this is the thing. So there is central nervous system and there is peripheral nervous system. You get that? Central means that this is the center. So your body has this center according to the information. So this is the central nervous system and whole of your body is the peripheral system. So here comes the thing.
So what about spinal cord? Like,
okay, we're going to look at that detail. What happens is that we have got the central thing. So we will divide this, that is the central nervous system. And the other thing which we have got is the peripheral nervous system. So you see that our nervous system, the whole of the body, whole of our neurons or the whole of the things which are present inside our body is divided into the nervous is the nervous system, which is divided into the central nervous system and the regardless, and remaining is the peripheral nervous system. But the central, I told you about the brain, which is the principal office. Okay, but what happens is that there are some management systems also related with that of the superior head and the vice principal and something. So what we call as that spinal cord is the vice principal. Why we call that? Because it is actually the central nervous system itself. Okay, how we can say that? For example, you see that this is the, you consider this as let me make it. So think about what I'm making this. Brain. This is the brain. You see, and this is the spinal cord. So this is actually the central nervous system, the center of our body. In the brain, you will get the information. In the spinal cord, you will receive all the nerves and the information, and then it will go up from here. For example, you are receiving information from whole of our body, okay? And you are also giving the information to the whole of our body. So the center is this thing. So you just think that this is the center, and brain and the spinal cord, these are the two things which are very important. From where, from whole over the the body, you get the information and you also deliver the information. So central nervous system includes the brain and the spinal cord. You get that?
Yes.
Central nervous system has got the brain, which knows the that how to predict it. This is the brain which can predict even and which can perform even. Like pre-activity, you can think in that of the brain. There is the cerebellum, there is the cerebrum. Brain does not include that of the spinal cord. So up to here you can say that there is the brain. Okay. So brain is not only this thing. I've exaggerated that thing, but the whole, you will, when you will see the actual brain, that I just want to paint it on the board. I would just wanted to tell you that these things are present inside that of the brain. That's why I made brain this way. But actually what happens is that when you will see the brain, then you will get to know that brain is just like this. There would be, this is the from one side view, this is the lateral view, what I am telling, okay. So this would be the cerebrum and this would be the cerebellum, and this is the cerebellum. Can you tell where is the cerebellum actually in this picture? So here would be the cerebellum. And where would be the cerebrum? Okay, when I was when I was a child in the high school, I used to confuse the cerebellum, still I slip the tongue. This is the cerebellum and the cerebrum. So what's the difference in these two? So actually the brum means drum, and you take the drum on your head. So what you'll say that this is the drum which is present on side our body. So this is cerebrum. Okay, you see that similarities. So this is actually the drum which is present on your head. So you are dumb as far as I know. Like many people used to say that. So this is the actually drum present on your on the upper side of your body, and this is the cerebellum. Like this is the bell over here. So you say, like you can say there is the cord which is the bell, and you hit on the drum. So this is the cerebrum and this is the cerebellum. Okay, bellum means to bell, to hit again and again. So you hit by this way, and this is the cerebellum. So this is the way which I used to remember, and up till now I just follow that thing. That's same, but still what we can say. Okay, you got that, the cerebrum and cerebrum, how to remember that. So this is one thing that is like regardless of our lecture. So what happens is that you will get the information from whole of our body, and then here the spinal cord will take the information and it will bend and go to the different parts of the brain. This is the outer region, always called as the cortex. Remember that? Do you know?
Yeah.
So the cortical, like to the cortex, they will go. So this is the spinocortical way. From the spine it goes to the cortex region. This is the spinocortical tract. There are so many tracts. Believe me that there are ascending tracts, that there are descending tracts, and there is the anterolateral tracts, and there is the lateral-anterior tracts. So there are so many things that you would mess up. But I'm teaching from you very basic so that you may not forget the things. Okay. So what I am talking about is this is the brain, this is the spinal cord. You get the information, you send it back, and also what happens is that you will even from here also the result will come out. Do you think that from here after interpretation result will come? Do you think? For example, from the muscle you get information, and to the muscle you take the information. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Focus on the things from the very beginning so that you might not forget afterwards. Okay, so the central nervous system contains the brain and the spinal cord, these two things. Okay, you get that?
Yeah.
Any questions up to here? Okay, what happens is that the brain is actually, okay, before going into the further detail, let me show you this. Let me ask you a question. There was a patient which was 23 years old, and he was heading towards from the party, okay, and while he was going from the party to the home, he was having a car accident, and he had been hit to a tree. And what happens is that his back was like torn off to the thing. So what would the spinal cord actually, not the spinal cord, actually his vertebrae were dislocated. When he was brought to the hospital, what would happen? That he was having the paralysis of the legs. So what do you think? What's the relation? There was no there was the back injury, but still he had the paralysis of the legs, peripheral paralysis. So what's the relation? This would be used as that your legs are not hurt at any point. You had legs are not injured. His leg was not injured actually, but what was there? That his back was injured, and by appearance he didn't have any actual consequences to see. So why would you think that there would be the paralysis?
Because maybe the nerves were damaged.
Okay, listen. What was happened? That his spinal cord was damaged. It was in this way, firstly, and his spinal cord damaged over here, and it became compressed. This is a long history. I will, by the end of the lecture, I will reveal this, that how that person, the whole history, and then I will go through another. I just mentioned that story over here so that you might know that if there is a small injury to the spinal cord or to the brain, both things, what would happen if it is compressed, or if it is damaged, or it had got infection, or it has got bacteria infection, it was any injury has so many things inside it. So if it has got any injury, then what would happen? That your nerves will not work properly. Because what do you think that here, what was bringing the information? There were nerves that were bringing, and what were taking? There were also nerves that were taking the information. So the center, if it is defected, if it is injured, then you might have the disease all over the body. In the stomach, if you get the disease, it doesn't mean that to some extent you will hurt in other parts, but actually you will not have the disease in the brain. You will not have disease in the other parts, but if you have disease in the brain, then you might have the chances to get the disease anywhere else. So moving on to the lecture. What is the thing that we have got the brain and the spinal cord? This is the center, epicenter, of the thing. So I'll tell you one thing later on, but still focus on the thing. That brain and the spinal cord, the central nervous system. What about the brain? Brain has been divided into three things, which is the forebrain,
Midbrain,
midbrain,
hindbrain.
and hindbrain. So these are the three things which are important to be known. Okay, listen. These are the three things. This is the forebrain actually. Okay. Forebrain.
Like cerebrum part is the forebrain.
Cerebrum part is the forebrain. Actually, it is the whole cerebrum is the forebrain. How it is formed, I will teach you. But still, moving on to the thing that this here up to this point, you see here at the neck of the not actually the neck, but at the point which connects the spinal cord and the brain would lead to the midbrain. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So this would be because it is in the middle, we can say this is the midbrain. And what about this? This is the hind brain. You get that? These are the two things. But in the midbrain, you can have this. That is the neck of the thing. That is also called as before going to the thing, we must think that this is the midbrain. This first thing is present is the pons, and underneath there is medulla oblongata. Okay. So up to here you can say this is the pons and this is the medulla oblongata, and the behind these two things would be the cerebellum. So these three things would make the hindbrain, and midbrain is in between, and forebrain is up to that region. But what happens is actually that you have got the thing that pons and medulla oblongata and the cerebellum and the midbrain. These whole things, hindbrain and midbrain, these whole things will form the brain stem. You see the stem? That is actually the main thing that is handling. For example, just trust me for a while that this is the midbrain, This is the pons and this is the medulla. Okay, and from in like downwards there is the spinal cord. So what is actually we put on that is the brain. Okay, the actual brain, that is the forebrain. Forebrain is the largest part of the brain. Midbrain is little smaller, and then we have got the this pons medulla cerebellum, which we call as the brain stem. Are you getting my point? This is whole is the brain. Up to here there is the brain, but this we specifically call as the brain stem, cause it acts as a stem between the brain and the spinal cord.
So cerebellum is not included in brain stem.
Cerebellum is actually a part of the brain stem, like attached with that. Okay.
And hindbrain.
Okay, listen. What happens is that to some extent we can say that this is the accessory part, and okay, let me make it. For example, this is the lollipop. This is this is the neck. You form the lollipop, and you will get that. So this is up to now there is the brain stem. This is the brain, and this is the spinal cord. Okay, so there is the accessory thing, D thing, which is present over there is the cerebellum. Okay, so but don't underestimate the cerebellum. This is we have got a whole series of lecture on the cerebellum, and you will get that, and you will find that how much it is important for us. Okay, so this was one thing that we were discussing. So okay, let me. No, let it be. So, forebrain, how it is actually formed, listen to me. This is very important thing that we are going to, we will study in the nervous, development of the nervous system, but for a little bit detail, I want to just highlight the thing. For example, this is the neural tube. You know the neural tube? In the embryology, we form the neural tube and the neural crest. Just we are not specifically describing that. We can watch the lectures of the embryology, how the nervous system development. But up till now, I want to tell you that from here there would be these swellings present over there. Okay, so you see that it actually looks like a brain. A little bit similarities, because whenever you start forming something is not actually the brain, it just resembles that. So this would be formed. Afterwards, you see that what would happen that here, okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. What happens is that afterwards that this like this part, or this we call as the forebrain, this we call as the midbrain, and this we call as the hindbrain. What would happen to this forebrain? Midbrain will remain the same, hindbrain will remain the same, but actually this part of the forebrain, what it will lead to the thing, this will be compressed here. This region would be compressed, and what would happen that here would be the groove will be formed. The groove was present over there, and it just started compressing. So what happens is that the gray matter and the white, okay, I will go into that detail later on. So this was compressed to the things that we formed this shaped. Like midbrain was same, hindbrain was same, but this was formed into the two lobes, and you were compressing so much that you have got here the central dark areas. Okay, and the wider areas you got over here. So what are these called as? These were divided into the Diencephalon and Telencephalon. Okay, I didn't tell you about the prosencephalon and rhombencephalon. Okay, let me describe you that thing so that I can describe you this thing. This will take you a little. You will find it a little difficult, but actually it's not. What happens is that forebrain actually we call it as the prosencephalon. Cephalon means the brain thing. So prosencephalon is called as the forebrain. You have to remember that. I don't need to tell you. Regardless, you have to tell me that this is called as a Okay, and the midbrain is called as the mesencephalon, and the hindbrain is called as the rhombencephalon. Okay, so we called it that the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and the rhombencephalon. And the prosencephalon, which was forebrain, was divided into the diencephalon and the telencephalon. Is it like that? So how the telencephalon and diencephalon was formed? Let me describe you this thing. So what would happen that the this was telencephalon and diencephalon mixed over here at that point. But what happens is that the diencephalon would comes into the center due to the compression. So there was compression, and the dark area just accumulated at the very little, which it came here, and we called it diencephalon. And here the whole area, this would called as the telencephalon. So how you can remember that this is the diencephalon and this is the telencephalon? You can say that there is the di thing. So two things that we can say diencephalon is present over in this little area, and telencephalon you can say that it is present at the telescopes. Like telescopes are present over there, and from the this is the earth. For example, this is the earth, and you are from the telescope, you are seeing towards the earth. Are you getting my point? So this would be the telencephalon, this would be the diencephalon. This was about the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, rhombencephalon, and what we call as the telencephalon and diencephalon. You got that? So let me take a little test of you so that I might get the point that you have considered that thing. So what do you think? What is the central nervous system? Central nervous system is the central part. And what would happen, okay, leave all the things, don't note anything, just focus on the thing. That the central system is the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is present over there, spinal cord is present at the back, okay, up to the like the vertebrae. And we will go into that detail that vertebra actually from at the last vertebra spinal cord is not present. Like it is in the sacral region, spinal cord is not present because this is the at the end also, like we can, because actually they are also fused, so this might be the point that there the spinal cord could not be present, but still that's another thing we will discuss it later on. The time being we are discussing about the brain. So what you see that forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain, it is divided into the three things, which is the forebrain. Actual brain we call it as the prosencephalon. One of the student was going to call it as a prosencephalon. So like some of the student has freeze their mind, so we can also call it as the prosencephalon, but actually it's prosencephalon. So what happens is that the second we called it at the mesencephalon, the midbrain, and from midbrain and for mesencephalon. And then we have got the hindbrain, which we can say like you remember we used to call it the hindgut, the last part. So from that we can say there is the hindgut. So this is the that is we call as the rhombencephalon. Okay, so to me rhombencephalon is the most interesting thing. Like it's used, it's a fantasy thing that rhombencephalon something like. I will go into each and every part later on. Okay, so that you people might think that what's actually this thing. There's a whole bunch of series of that. Don't confuse that thing. This is very basic. Enjoy the lecture. Don't stress out the things. Okay, so this is prosencephalon, mesencephalon and rhombencephalon. And in the midbrain we have got this, and in the hindbrain we have got the pons, medulla oblongata and the cerebellum. Okay, not actually the cerebellum, but still we will see what is happening over there. So what's left over here? Okay, diencephalon and telencephalon. Forebrain has the thing which is the diencephalon and the telencephalon at neurological levels. So how they are formed, what are the structures in the diencephalon, we will go through into that. Okay, before going into that, why wouldn't you study over here? So this is the diencephalon, which is actually in the, regardless of anything, there are the thalami present. You remember? There are the thalami present, thalamus inside of the brain. So actually diencephalon has the thalamus. Okay, the thalamus. And what is actually thalamus? We will do a bit detail so that you might not confuse that thing. I don't want to burden you people. So up till here, there is the diencephalon, there is the telencephalon, and now I'm not confused that. Okay, listen. You see that here, just think that this is what? This is what? This is the spinal cord, and this is the grey matter. Inside between there is a grey matter. So what happens is that from the spinal cord, like from here, the information comes and it goes upwards. Okay, so these are the ascending tracks that will take upwards, and they will take to that of the brain. Okay, what happens is that there, after interpretation, there are some tracks that will take the information and then they will go outside. So these are the descending tracks. We will also study that there are 4 types of tracks. That there is some ascending tracks, there are some descending tracks, ascending tracks, there are some descending tracks, and also we have got one thing, that there are some lateral, like from back side or to the front side, there would be the tracks, and some we have also got the thing that from here to here there also will be the tracks. Okay, you get that point. So these are the 4 tracks which we will study later on. But you, according to your question, that you asked that same question, same tracks bring, same neurons bring. So this is not the thing. The neurons which take the information, they will not take back the information. There are some ascending tracks, there are some descending tracks. So there were some of the neurons that also do so that, but we will not go into that detail. But your question was that. Okay, any questions further on?
What was the role of telencephalon and diencephalon?
Okay, let me describe you. That this is the telencephalon. You got the thing that forebrain is called as the prosencephalon, and how it was formed. It was formed from the embryologically it was formed, and it got the like how I can say. Okay, listen. For example, you have got a spare ball. Okay, you've got a spare ball, and you at the end you have got the little dark areas. Okay, here you have got the little dark areas, nucleuses. Just think about that. So if you will compress that thing from the from one point, that you will depress the thing. So what would happen, that from here the whole of the thing would rotate this way, isn't it? That there would be the compression, and these would be compressed and form this thing. You see, and these are the thalami. In actual brain or in actual things, these are the thalami. And so what we call this area which was compressed, we call it the diencephalon. Okay. This is actually not that you are seeing. I just, for the sake of remembrance, I am telling that these are the telescopes. So to remember that this is the telencephalon, this is the diencephalon, because it's the two nuclei present there. These are the diencephalon. So the question arises here. You asked about that, is it the only thalami present over there or hypothalamus? It is actually yes. The answer is that here. You see, there are the thalamus. Okay, how can I? Okay, here. This is what? This is what? Okay, you repeat after me. This is the spinal cord. This is the pons. This is the medulla, and this is the cerebellum or bellum. Okay, cerebellum. Very good. What we are saying that up. What is this? Midbrain. Okay, up. Above the midbrain, there are the cylindrical shape, or the you can say that there are the thalami present over there. One this side and one on the on the other side. I made it at the top, but actually it's not on the top. It's at the other side. Just like here there are thalami present. Let me make a bit clear view so that you may not confuse that thing. This is the side view I'm talking about. But what would if we see from the front? From the front you will see this is the midbrain. This is the speak after me. This is the midbrain. This is the pons.
Pons.
This is the
Medulla.
medulla, and there would be the cerebellum, and this is the spinal cord as it was described. So you asked about that. What is the diencephalon? Diencephalon I was talking about. So this is the frontal view in which there are the thalami present over there. Okay. Is that okay to you? And now what happens is this is the lateral view in which we described that this is above, just above the midbrain, there are the thalami present over there. Okay, what happens is that when we are going to talk about, then here in between that there would be the third ventricle, and in the third ventricle will lead to the further on there will go and form the fourth ventricle. And what are these ventricles? We will okay, let me tell you. This is the third ventricle. There are four ventricles actually present in that of the brain, which is the lateral ventricles, one third ventricle, and one fourth ventricle. How they are present? That in between the two thalami there is present the third ventricle, and from the continuation of the third ventricle there would be a space going, and it will lead into that of the pontomedullary junction. There would be the presence of the fourth ventricle that would localize over there in that region present over there. So there would be the midbrain. On the midbrain there are thalami, and in the thalami I talked about that there is what? There is the ventricle present over there. Is that okay? So, in the third ventricle, what would happen that at the back of the third ventricle, there is a very important gland attached to it, which is pineal gland. So, pineal gland, this is present at the back of the third ventricle. So pineal gland is present over there in the third ventricle. It is going to be attached with that, and on just above that there would be the duct that was coming, which is the equiduct, and it will go and it will open into that of the pontomedullary junction. So this would be the fourth ventricle. Okay, there the third ventricle would be this, and fourth ventricle would be this. Ventricle is actually the space in which the cerebrospinal fluid is present. Okay, this might be a little thing that how the cerebrospinal fluid is present and the stuff like that. We will study on that. Just trust me for a while. That this is the third ventricle and this is the fourth ventricle. What would happen above, after that? There is beneath that there is the subthalami present over there. Behind the under the thalami there is the subthalami. For example, here. There are the subthalami present over there. Okay, are you getting my point? What I am talking about? Okay. The next thing is that in front of that the floor of the third ventricle will stop, but there would be the continuation, and there would be continuation of a substance, and below that we will get that the actual stalk of the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is actually the part of that thing, specific apparatus present over there. And then there would be the mammillary body. There is just what we can say, the bulk or I'm not getting that word, what we are used to call it. Like, what do you call this? Swelling. Okay, I was just confused about the swelling. So this is the swelling. So there would be the swelling which we call as the mammillary bodies. So you might think that what's the use of these things that doctor is teaching that and saying again and again, the diencephalon. What we were talking about the brain, and just once in a while I'm talking about. So the answer of your question was that the diencephalon has the pineal body. Actually, this whole apparatus would be having the diencephalon, the pineal gland, the third ventricle, the thalamus, the subthalamus, the hypothalamus, and the mammillary bodies. And also there would be the optic tract and the optic chiasma, because the optic nerve, which is the optic nerve, is a very important nerve. This is actually not the part of the of the nerves. This is actually the central nervous system. So you might be confused about that. Why the doctor is saying that, but the doctors believe that this is the central nervous system, part of the central nervous system. Optic nerve is the part of the central nervous system, as it is the continuation, or it is formed from the diencephalon. Okay. So they are going to this way, and these are going to the, what are these? This is the optic nerve, this is the optic tract, and this is the optic, not to the pineal gland, but here they are going to the, okay, optic nerve and the optic tract. So the optic nerve, as I told you, is not the part, or is the part of the central nervous system. Doctors believe that only the one nerve which is a part of the central nervous system is called as the optic nerve. You might be thinking that every nerve is going to the central nervous system, so why we are not saying? Actually, they are the nervous system, but they are not central. The whole nerves are present in that of the that part, but it is actually not the. These are actually not the central nervous system. Every nerve is coming to our body, from our body, and going to the body. So these are the peripheral nervous system. But optic nerve is the only nerve which is not a part of the peripheral nervous system. It is actually the what we can say, this is the part of the central nervous system. So this is the very important point of that. We will describe the thing that why it's not the part of the central nervous system, but we will in further things. So it might relate the thing. Let's move on to the lecture. That diencephalon is just not the thalami. You see, there are the thalami, there is the subthalami, there is the pineal gland, there is the third ventricle, there is the mammillary body, there is the hypothalamus. So even one thing about that, even the whole hypothalamus is not the part of the diencephalon. Okay, the posterior pituitary, the posterior pituitary is not the part of the diencephalon. Anterior pituitary is the part of the diencephalon. Why is that so? Okay, I'll go into the further thing, so that you might not confuse. There would be a mess of things if I'll tell you at this stage. So up till now, you were asking about that what was the diencephalon. So you got that point, why we call as the diencephalon. This whole structure is called as this whole apparatus is called as the diencephalon. And what about this part? The cortical part. These are the telencephalon. Why we call as the telencephalon? Because when you will get the information over here, when you will get the information over here, it will be interpreted and it will be went over there. And from here, the further things will go on. Okay, up till now you got the point, the concept of the telencephalon and the diencephalon.
So where is the fourth ventricle?
This is the fourth ventricle is at the in between the two thalami. There is the third ventricle, and the third ventricle, they would lead to a tube-like structure that would go into the midbrain, and at the pontomedullary junction they would open up. Okay, you see over here that you got the duct, and at the this is the lateral side. So there is one opening, pontomedullary junction, and the point of the pontomedullary junction, it opens into that, and afterwards it goes on into the spinal cord. How this is actually a mystery, that how the cerebrospinal fluid goes, and inside brain there is also cerebrospinal fluid. Actually, cerebrospinal fluid must be outside the brain, but there are some points where actually the cerebrospinal fluid is present inside the brain also. These are called as the ventricles. And there are how many ventricles?
4. 4 or 3?
There are 4 ventricles. Okay, but there are also ventricle in some other part of the body. Where are they?
Heart.
Okay, heart. There are ventricles present over there. How many ventricles are present over there?
2.
Okay, which ventricle?
Left and right.
That's the thing. So this is the empty space present over there. Left and right ventricles are present over there. I must be impressed by this answer, because these days we can say that there are 2 ventricles in the in what? In the heart. And there are 4 ventricles present in the. Pardon, these markers might used to go here and there because it doesn't want to teach. So ventricles are the thing. There are 4 ventricles present over there. The 2 lateral ventricles, 1 central ventricle, which is the 3rd ventricle, and the 4th ventricle, which goes into the outside. So how do you think 1 and 2, where are they present? Somewhere like in your brain or in your stomach?
Inside brain.
Inside brain. Okay, I might think that you people are going to say that they would be present in the stomach, but actually they are not in the stomach. They are in the brain. And where are they present? They are present laterally over here. So they are present over there, and at some point they will lead to the connection with that of the 3rd ventricle. Ventricles we will study later on, but this was due to the reason that this is the introductory class, so we might not go into the whole stuff, so that you want to learn the whole anatomy in one day. That's not going to be possible. We will gradually move on. So are you developing the interest in the ventricles and the things?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions up to this? That we have saying that 4 ventricles, 2 lateral. We will not call it as 1 ventricle and 2 ventricle. This would be childish. There are lateral ventricles, okay, and there are the central ventricle, which is the 3rd ventricle, and there would be the 4th ventricle, which will open up into the pontomedullary junction.
It's pontomedullary or contomedullary?
Pontomedullary junction, like this is hilarious. Like how we are studying about the pons. Like you are going to make the another term which no one wants to learn. Actually, this is hilarious to just use that word. So this thing is a pontomedullary junction. Pons and medulla, pontomedullary junction. My students have learned much of neurology. So.
And what about the posterior?
What?
Posterior pituitary.
Pardon? Posterior pituitary?
Yeah.
How it comes from? It
Yeah,
doesn't come from.
the
No. Posterior pituitary, as I told you, that this is not the part of the central nervous system or from the Diencephalon, because it is not derived from that. It is the part, but it is not derived from that. So in the questioning exams or the listening exams, you might have this confusion that hypophysis, why it's not the part of that of the central nervous system, or it is not derived from that of the central nervous system. Actually, it is the part, but not derived from that. It is actually derived from the nasal primitives. And the nasal regions, there are the things over that. So afterwards this will move on. There is the nasal substance present over there that will move upwards and will form the substance which is called as the posterior pituitary. But we will discuss each and everything in slowly. Today we are studying about the introduction, so we cannot go into that much detail in one day, just in this lecture, because there are also students present over the camera, behind the camera, so they have to be lenient. We must have to be lenient about the things like gradually we are studying. Are you enjoying the thing that we are studying? Okay. So up till now what we have discussed about the brain. Okay. Now this was actually sometimes I just love to teach. So this is one thing. And now we are going to discuss about the spinal cord. Up till now, you have any question?
No.
No?
Not
really?
no.
That's the thing. Okay, what about the spinal cord? We have been discussing the spinal cord for so long. So spinal cord is the CNS. and it is. There is an interesting question that I may offer some dollars on it. Okay, so you people might not see on the book. You will have to answer me that at what exact point the spinal cord starts and it comes out of the skull. You see there is the skull. As far as I know, my skull looks like a little weird. So it looks like a skull. No, it doesn't actually. But still, what we can say that here is the skull which is presenting over there. And at which point do you think that okay, I might describe it another way. This looks hilarious that I'm making this way. You might not be able to judge this way. Let me make it easier for you. This is what? Don't look at your books. I will not offer any dollar then. So be a trustworthy person, okay? So don't look at it. And this is this central area. And here we have got the crista galli, you see? And there are the two ears. There is this point, there is interjugular foramen. There is also the foramen magnum, which is the largest foramen. And we have also got the foramen ovale, foramen rotundum, and this foramen lacerum. Okay, so this is the thing. And here we have got the internal ear and substance, stuff like that. And here resides your hypothalamus. So okay, there is the anterior part, there is the lateral part, and there are lateral parts, and there is the inferior part. So what do you think, at what point the spinal cord comes out of your skull? This is very easy. So I may offer $50 to you, so you have to answer that. I'm sure that you know that. You see that there is the anterior part, there is the superior part, there is the inferior part, or there is the anterior part and posterior part, there are the lateral part, these are the both ears, and you might think that there is the nose also present over there. So you see, we are seeing from the top, we are seeing inside our brain. So at what point do you think that spinal cord might come out of that thing, and you can say that this is coming out? Hurry up, I have to move on my lecture. Otherwise, from midbrain? Midbrain is a thing that we are saying that midbrain will come out of that. This is the whole brain. I talked about that this is the brain. The spinal cord starts from here. So when
cervical region?
Cervical region what?
From first cervical.
Cervical region is present over in the neck region present over there. The cervical region, the spinal cord starts over there. I'm asking about which is the structure which leads to the opening of the spinal cord.
The foramen inside.
So let me tell you, otherwise I'm afraid that you might tell that, and I may lose that $50. So I don't want actually you people to lose $50. So I'll keep that $50 to myself. There is the foramen magnum, which is the largest foramen present over there. And what do you think? Which is the foramen magnum? This is the foramen ovale. This is the foramen rotundum. So this is the foramen. This is the foramen. That's the point that you loses the thing, that this is the foramen lacerum, and the big part is the foramen. You might heard it 1,000 times, but you don't have that much time to sit and learn that. Foramen magnum.
My answer was 50% right.
So this was the foramen magnum present over there, and this is exact point where you see that the spinal cord comes out of it. So this is the brain is actually not presented in this thing that forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain, they are actually so much compressed, and you can hold it in the hand. If we have got just the surgery, and we saw that it is just like very soft, delicate part of our body that you might compress it. Like it's very easy to be damaged. So it's just not like that.